I came here to say I'm sorry about yesterday. I was a jerk.
Episode 6 of The Summer I Turned. Pretty Season 3 is poised to shake the foundations of everything we thought we knew about Conrad, Belly, and Jeremiah. Secrets that have been simmering beneath the surface are ready to boil over, and the love triangle that once felt like playful summer drama is about to turn into an emotional battlefield. With the wedding inching closer, emotions running wild, and hidden truths threatening to spill, nothing will ever be the same. Every glance, every word, every gesture is loaded with meaning, and the calm before the storm is about to end. This episode isn't just another step forward, it's the moment when hearts break, confessions surface, and choices reveal who these characters really are. The question isn't who Belly will choose, it's whether any of them will have the courage to confront their own feelings, face the past, and admit the truths they've been hiding. Episode 6 promises high stakes, shocking emotional turns, and a reckoning that will leave no heart untouched. After the emotional unraveling of Episode 5, Conrad is standing at the edge of his own breaking point. We've seen him quietly crumble, haunted by memories of Susanna, carrying the weight of promises made, and silently battling feelings that have never faded. Every time he sees Belly with Jeremiah, the pain in his eyes tells a story words cannot capture. Episode 6 may finally force Conrad to confront these feelings openly. It won't necessarily be a dramatic declaration or a cinematic confession. It might be quieter, more intimate, like the simple but heart-wrenching admission that he never stopped loving her, or that he regrets letting her slip away. The emotional stakes for Conrad are enormous because he's not just navigating love, he's balancing guilt, loyalty, and the shadow of the past. He spent seasons building walls, hiding his pain behind stoicism, but those walls are beginning to crack. Belly may start noticing subtle signs, lingering glances, quiet support, or moments of unexpected vulnerability. And in Episode 6, that recognition could tip the scales. For her, the conflict is equally consuming. She's caught between the stability Jeremiah represents and the raw, unfiltered connection she shares with Conrad. The wedding preparations, which should be joyful, feel increasingly suffocating. Adam's insistence on hosting the ceremony at his country club rather than the beloved beach house is more than a mere logistical change. It symbolizes the widening gap between what she wants and what the people around her expect. Belly is beginning to feel the pressure of expectations, of family opinions, and the fear of disappointing those she loves. Episode 6 may mark the first time she starts questioning whether this wedding is really about love or simply about comfort and appearances. That doubt is dangerous because it intersects with her memories, the lingering presence of Susanna, and the quiet, patient love that Conrad has always shown. Meanwhile, Jeremiah is not oblivious to the tension building around him. His once confident smile is beginning to falter, showing cracks of insecurity. He senses Belly's distance, notices Conrad's quiet constancy, and though he may not confront them outright yet, the pressure is already gnawing at him. Jeremiah's stakes are personal and deep. This wedding is his chance to feel like he finally belongs, like he's not second choice. But as the walls close in, the lines between love, possession, and fear blur, setting the stage for conflicts that could alter the course of all three lives. Episode 6 is likely to escalate these emotions, placing each character at a crossroads where they must face themselves honestly. Conrad's guilt, Belly's uncertainty, and Jeremiah's growing tension are all building toward a moment where nothing can be hidden. Small gestures, overlooked words, and lingering glances are going to carry the weight of unspoken truths. As Episode 6 unfolds, expect the emotional strain to be palpable, the tension to rise with every heartbeat, and the first cracks in the love triangle to appear. What has been simmering quietly for seasons is finally being forced into the open, and the results will be messy, unpredictable, and devastatingly real. Secrets will edge toward revelation, hearts will teeter on the brink, and decisions made in quiet moments may resonate louder than the loudest confrontations. Episode 6 isn't just about romantic choices. It's about emotional honesty, courage, and the willingness to face the complicated, messy truths of love. Whether it's Conrad finally speaking his heart, Belly questioning her own path, or Jeremiah confronting the reality of being second, the episode promises to be a crucible of raw, unfiltered emotion. Belly's heart is on a knife's edge, and Episode 6 may be the moment when the weight of her emotions finally demands to be acknowledged. For weeks, she's been balancing the pull of the past with the expectations of the present, trying to reconcile the love she's always known with the comfort of what she thinks she should have. Jeremiah's careful planning, his relentless optimism, and his desire to make her happy have created a sense of security that is tempting, but it's becoming increasingly clear that security comes at a cost: her own sense of truth. The subtle differences between him and Conrad are impossible for her to ignore now. Conrad's quiet presence, the way he anticipates her needs without being asked, the unspoken understanding that has always existed between them, these moments have piled up quietly, creating an emotional pressure that Belly can no longer ignore. In episode 6, we may see her grappling with these feelings more openly, though it is unlikely to be easy or straightforward. Her confusion is compounded by the weight of past memories, the echoes of Susanna's voice, and the lingering sense of guilt for feeling torn. The choice she faces is not simply about who to love, but about recognizing her own desires without being swayed by obligation, fear, or the expectations of those around her. Every decision regarding the wedding, from the venue to the guest list to the smallest details, now feels like a reflection of someone else's vision rather than her own, and that realization could spark a turning point. Episode 6 may present moments where Belly begins to pause, to reflect, to question if rushing into this commitment is truly what she wants, or if it is just a way of keeping everyone else comfortable while she hides from her own feelings. The presence of Conrad and the way he continues to quietly support her will only amplify her uncertainty. She may start seeking counsel from Taylor, Laurel, or even Stephen, but ultimately the tension is internal, a battle between what she knows in her heart and what she feels obliged to do. As the episode progresses, expect these internal struggles to manifest outwardly in subtle ways. Hesitations, quiet withdrawals, moments of emotional vulnerability that those closest to her cannot ignore. The emotional landscape is complicated by the symbolism of the spaces around her. The beach house, with all its memories and emotional resonance, contrasts sharply with the sterile, polished setting of the country club, representing a wedding that feels increasingly like someone else's story. Belly may begin to recognize that the external trappings of love, the perfect dress, the flawless decor, the expectations of family, cannot replace the honesty she craves in her relationships. This realization may lead to quiet moments of rebellion, small but powerful acts where she asserts herself, questioning arrangements, pausing conversations, or seeking space to reflect. Meanwhile, the dynamics with Conrad are quietly reaching a tipping point. Every subtle look, every unguarded word, every shared memory of summers past adds layers to the emotional tension. Conrad may finally reveal a fragment of his heart, not as a plea, not as a demand, but as an acknowledgement of truth, a raw and honest expression that has been bottled up for far too long. This honesty, when it surfaces, could trigger a cascade of emotional reactions, not only in Belly, but also in Jeremiah, whose awareness of Conrad's presence and influence has been growing steadily. Jeremiah's confidence, once seemingly unshakable, is now at risk of fracturing under the pressure of subtle but undeniable truths. His smile may falter, his certainty may waver, and the careful veneer he's maintained may crack, revealing the insecurities he has hidden beneath the surface. Episode 6 will likely heighten these tensions, presenting moments where loyalties are tested, emotions are raw, and the quiet undercurrents of desire and regret begin to surface in ways that can no longer be contained. Belly's journey in this episode is not just about choosing between two men, it's about recognizing the power of her own voice, the value of her own feelings, and the courage to confront the complicated, messy reality of love. As the episode unfolds, every glance, every interaction, and every silent moment will be charged with significance, pushing her closer to the emotional precipice where she must decide who she truly is and what she truly wants. The stakes are higher than ever, the emotional tension is palpable, and the decisions Belly faces could change the trajectory of every relationship in her life. Episode 6 is set to explore the complexities of self-discovery, the weight of unspoken truths, and the inevitable reckoning that comes when hearts refuse to stay silent any longer. The love triangle that has defined the summer thus far is on the brink of transformation, and Belly is at the center, navigating a storm of feelings that could alter everything. Conrad's journey through episode 6 is likely to be the emotional heartbeat of the story, the moment where the quiet, simmering storm he's carried for so long begins to demand attention. He has spent seasons shielding himself behind walls built of guilt, loss, and loyalty, each stone carefully placed to keep his feelings hidden, not just from Belly, but from himself. The promise he made to Susanna, the sense of duty to protect Jeremiah, and the relentless shadow of grief have shaped every decision he has made. But the cracks are now visible, and episode 6 may be the point where they widen into fractures that cannot be ignored. Conrad's internal struggle is intricate and layered, a blend of longing, remorse, and an aching desire for honesty. Every moment spent around Belly, seeing her smile, watching her navigate life with Jeremiah, reminds him of what he has lost and what he risks losing if he continues to remain silent. The flashbacks that defined episode 5 may return here, not merely as memories, but as catalysts for action, guiding him toward understanding that Susanna's wish was never for him to dwell in guilt, but to embrace life, love, and truth. Episode 6 could bring moments where these memories surface in subtle but meaningful ways. A letter, a photograph, a conversation with someone who reminds him of what Susanna truly wanted. These glimpses into the past may prompt Conrad to finally confront the tangled emotions he's been carrying, to see clearly the difference between duty and desire, and to recognize that honesty is not betrayal, it is the only path toward genuine connection. The tension between Conrad and Jeremiah is reaching a boiling point. Jeremiah has always seen himself as the safe choice, the reliable option, the person who could finally step out of Conrad's shadow. But even the strongest masks can't withstand the quiet intensity of observation, the way Conrad's unspoken feelings ripple through every interaction. Episode 6 may bring confrontation, whether subtle or explosive, where Jeremiah begins to sense that his carefully built confidence is under threat. His awareness of Conrad's presence and the silent bond between Conrad and Belly could stir insecurities that force him to reassess his position, not just as a fiancé, but as a brother and as a young man trying to assert his identity. This emotional collision is heightened by the setting itself. Every choice about the wedding, every plan, every small detail that deviates from the natural comfort of the beach and summer's past becomes a symbol of conflict. The external pressures amplify the internal struggles, creating an environment where even the smallest interactions carry monumental significance. For Conrad, the choice is not only about speaking his truth to Belly, it is about stepping out of the shadows of the past, confronting the weight of his guilt, and deciding if he can allow himself to be vulnerable without fear of judgment or rejection. The episode may give viewers glimpses into the complexity of his love, showing that it is not selfish or impulsive, but patient, enduring, and rooted in a deep understanding of who Belly is and what she needs. Yet this emotional honesty comes at a cost. As Conrad begins to navigate the line between loyalty and love, his actions are likely to create tension, uncertainty, and perhaps even heartbreak. Belly may witness moments that challenge her perceptions, prompting reflection and difficult decisions about where her heart truly lies. Jeremiah, too, may be forced to confront realities he has long avoided, the fragility of certainty, the illusion of control, and the quiet but undeniable power of true connection. Conrad's journey is the thread that ties these emotional elements together, the quiet force that drives the tension forward, and the character whose courage, or lack thereof, will shape the course of the episode. This is not a story of simple choices or predictable outcomes. It is a story about the courage to confront one's past, the bravery to be honest with oneself and others, and the consequences that follow when emotions long hidden are finally allowed to surface. By the end of episode 6, Conrad may have taken steps that fundamentally alter the relationships around him, forcing Belly, Jeremiah, and even himself to reckon with feelings that can no longer be ignored. The emotional stakes have never been higher, and the outcomes remain uncertain. One thing is clear: the love triangle, once a game of attraction and convenience, has evolved into a delicate balance of loyalty, guilt, desire, and the enduring weight of past choices. Episode 6 will test each character's limits, push them to confront uncomfortable truths, and challenge the audience to witness the raw, unfiltered realities of love and loss. Jeremiah has always worn his confidence like armor, the wide smile, the easy charm, and the steady reassurance hiding the insecurities that lie beneath. Episode 6 may finally strip away that armor, revealing a vulnerability he has been carefully concealing. He has long operated under the belief that his path with Belly is secure, that his efforts, planning, and unwavering optimism would be enough to guarantee the life he envisions with her. But the subtle cracks are undeniable now. Belly's hesitation, the glances she shares with Conrad, and her quiet questioning of the wedding plans are creating an emotional pressure that even Jeremiah can feel, even if he doesn't fully understand it yet. The episode is likely to explore the slow unraveling of his certainty, showing how insecurity creeps in, uninvited but unavoidable, shaking the foundations of everything he has built in his mind. As he navigates these growing tensions, viewers may witness moments of quiet reflection or fleeting glimpses of frustration, moments that hint at the internal battle he is facing between love, fear, and the realization that he may not have complete control over the future he has imagined. Jeremiah's journey in episode 6 is not just about competing for Belly's love, it's about grappling with his own sense of identity and worth. The realization that he may not be the first choice, that Conrad's silent presence still looms large in Belly's heart, could spark conflict both internal and external. He may attempt to confront Conrad, question his intentions, or even challenge Belly's decisions, all while struggling to maintain the persona he has carefully cultivated. This tension is compounded by the subtle ways the wedding itself becomes a source of emotional conflict. Every change, from the location to the details of the event, serves as a mirror for the growing disconnect between expectation and reality. The country club, polished and formal, represents order and control, while the beach house symbolizes authenticity, memories, and the emotional truth of Belly's experiences. The juxtaposition of these spaces may heighten Jeremiah's unease, highlighting the gap between what he desires and what Belly truly feels. Episode 6 may place him in situations where he is forced to acknowledge the limits of his influence, the impossibility of controlling another person's heart, and the fragile nature of certainty when emotions are involved. This journey could be painful, full of missteps, misunderstandings, and moments of emotional rawness that challenge his previous notions of strength and confidence. The tension between Jeremiah and Conrad is likely to become more pronounced in episode 6, creating a backdrop of conflict that is both subtle and explosive. While Jeremiah may initially react with confusion, frustration, or even anger, the episode may also allow glimpses of self-reflection, moments where he begins to understand the complexity of love and the consequences of choices driven by fear or pride. These emotional layers make episode 6 a pivotal moment, not only for the love triangle, but also for the growth of each character as they confront uncomfortable truths. In parallel, Belly's responses to these dynamics are likely to intensify the drama, her confusion, introspection, and emotional honesty acting as the catalyst for change. Every glance, conversation, and decision is charged with significance, pushing the narrative forward in ways that are unpredictable, yet inevitable. The episode promises to explore the intricate balance between loyalty, desire, fear, and courage, showing how each character grapples with the consequences of unspoken truths and hidden feelings. Episode 6 is set to reveal that love is not just about choice. It is about honesty, bravery, and the willingness to confront both one's own heart and the hearts of those around you. The emotional tension that has been building all season reaches a crescendo here, forcing Jeremiah, Conrad, and Belly into a crucible where decisions cannot be postponed and feelings cannot be ignored. The stakes are higher than ever, the potential for heartbreak is palpable, and the consequences of every action, word, and hesitation will ripple across their lives. The beauty of episode 6 lies not just in the romantic conflict, but in the emotional growth, self-realization, and reckoning with past promises that it brings. For Jeremiah, this may be the moment where he confronts the fragility of his control, the limits of certainty, and the truth that love is never guaranteed. It must be nurtured, fought for, and understood, often at the cost of comfort and pride.